Star Trek Picard, the MHN Hologram problem. Subscribe yet? Don't forget to also click the bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos. So let's tackle the sentient android / sentient MHN problem. I know for writers of any Star Trek show it's a nightmare to adhere to all the canon created by several TV shows and movies and not to be confined in their storytelling, but in Picard is a big plot hole concerning the main statement of the show, the uniqueness of the sentient android commander Data. Yes, Commander Data was and still is very unique, but was he that unique? Till now the main plot in Star Trek Picard revolves around Bruce Maddox and the creation of the so-called Data offsprings Dash and Soji, and the connection with the Romulan Empire and how unimaginably difficult it is to create a sentient android. But there is a big problem. Voyager had their own sentient synthetic being, the MHN program, the Doctor. Yes, in the first season of Voyager the Doctor was treated like a tricorder and he had a problem with that, but he was also rough around the edges. My point is something completely different. If Dr. Zimmerman, the creator of all the MHNs, was able to write a self-learning AI program that could evolve and become sentient, how was it so hard for Dr. Maddox to recreate Data? The Doctor also developed talents as a playwright, artist and photographer, and even became a consignor of opera. If you are new to Star Trek, I recommend you watch a couple of the Doctor-centric episodes like Latent Image, Thinker, Tanner, Doctor Spy and Family. In the episode Latent Image, the Doctor was treating two patients with an equal chance of survival with only enough time to treat one. You can imagine the emotional repercussions for the Doctor. In Tinker Tanner, Dr. Spy, he creates a program that allows him to daydream. In this episode he came up with the emergency command hologram, the ECH. Once the crew discovered that the Doctor is daydreaming, they used the holodeck to view his daydreams, including the one expressing his desire to be an emergency command hologram. Captain Janeway promises to consider his proposal. And last but not least, the episode Family is one of the most defining episodes for the Doctor. In this episode the Doctor creates a family for himself on the holodeck, and like often he completely overshot and his family was just too perfect at the start, but after some modifications by B'Elanna Torres or Tom Paris it got chaotic to the point he experienced real loss, and the episode concluded very emotionally. Till the end of Voyager the Doctor became human-like, maybe even more human-like than Data. Would it be so far-fetched for Maddox to just take the MHN programming and transfer it into a positronic brain? I think it would be doable even in the time of Nemesis. Did the writers forget about the MHN, or what was the thing that made Data so unique that he couldn't be recreated? Was it the processing power of Data's brain, which he demonstrated on multiple occasions throughout TNG, like in the first episode of season 5 titled Redemption Part 2, where he outsmarted some Romulans trying to cross the Federation border to aid the Duras sisters? But it was not the fact that he outsmarted the Romulans, it was the fact that he did it against an opposing crew who didn't believe an android should have command of a starship. In this episode Data showed some of his uniqueness as he was very commanding, capable and creative, at the same time noticing things no one else could have. We know a lot of times throughout TNG it was mentioned that he has insane capabilities and could process trillions of operations per second. In one episode he even alluded to the fact how much he is multitasking. The episode in which he gets involved involved with a crew member. He said to her in one scene that he is right now making a level 3 diagnostic and a couple of more things, and somewhere in between he was also thinking about her. In the movie First Contact, he stated that for a fraction of a second he thought about taking the offer from the Borg Queen when Picard said it was just for a fraction of a second. Data replied, for an android a fraction of a second is an eternity. So it was established the Data had some insane capabilities, but in contrast to that, the Doctor program even runs on a mobile emitter. Sure, it was tech from the 29th century, but he also ran on Voyager's computer, which obviously wasn't tasked to the max. Okay, we could say the Doctor was unique and not repeatable, but then there is the caveat that there are other MHNs who acted quite human, or doesn't Andy Dick from the Prometheus count? The Doctor even ran on 7 of 9 subprocessor in one episode where he had to hide inside of her. I get it, it's hard for writers to take into account all the things that happened in 50 years of Star Trek, and there are other major plot holes and canon inconsistency throughout the 50 years of Trek, like the known fact that you can't beam through the raised shields of a ship or station, but in the episode Relics, when we saw the return of James Doohan as Scotty in Next Generation, they clearly beamed Geordi and Scotty from the Genolan while her shields held open the Dyson Sphere's doors. If you are interested in the episode, it's episode 4 of season 6 of Star Trek The Next Generation. I didn't expect them to make other mistakes, but to have plot holes this big? Did you find any plot holes? Share them with me in the comments. And the biggest plot hole is that you didn't subscribe yet. Click the subscribe button, the notification bell, and I see you in the next video.